don't even know where to start except number one, I'd like to thank all the people that came. I mean, the crowd made a difference, and it made a monstrous difference. And considering the accidents and the weather and everything else, my first assist goes to them. It was fun to be in a huddle with 3 minutes left and look at my three guys that have been struggling a little bit at times. And, you know, when Dawson had the free throws, I told him he's going to make them, because that's what seniors do. I told Trice he's got to make a play. And then we went to Valentine at the end, and your three best players come through. And that's what I said that Mark D'Antonio has said. Your seniors, your upperclassmen got to play well to have a great season. And, boy, at the right time they did, because we were in some trouble. We were in some foul trouble. We just were running out of players as far as, we just didn't think that Elvin could go, and Bryn was struggling a little bit. They were going at him pretty hard, and I give Ohio State a lot of credit. I thought the guy that made some big shots, Williams made a couple big plays, but Shannon Scott made some big shots. And then, of course, the big three hit by Thompson when he's not a very good three-point shooter, but he's a senior, and that's what seniors do. So I thought all in all, we had played a lot better the first half. We did slow it down the second half. It wasn't what I wanted to do. We just were running out of bodies, and I just felt like that's the way we had to play. And when Denzel went out, and I don't know what we were up, but so we took the air out a little bit, tried to run the weave a little bit, and it's not the way I wanted to play, but I felt like it was the way I had to play, and I'll just open it up to questions.
Tom, normally at the end of a game you would call a timeout, but you didn't in this game. Had you already drawn up the play for Denzel to take that final shot?
Well, we had talked about it earlier on a play that I wanted to run, and just a high ball screen and have Travis come off it, and then the screener, instead of re-screening, he went and screened for Zell coming off a double, and those guys ran it well, and you're right. I always have. This year I'm 1 for 1. One game I didn't and we lost, and one game I did and we won, or didn't and we won. It kind of goes by the situation. I do think that Ohio State's a very good defensive team. I didn't want to give them a chance to stack up their defense. They were giving us trouble. They're very athletic and long, even though not real big. All those guys are long, like Thompson, and even Tate has got long arms and plays hard. And I thought we did a very good job on Russell. I could argue it, but I'm not sure I would. I think he's maybe the best player in this league. He's so hard to guard. We work with Dawson on him. We work with Tom on him. We work with Denzel on him. And Denzel is starting to take the challenge of guarding some of the best players. And I thought, he did a good job. They abused Tom a little bit, but even that didn't work at the end. So I was just proud of our guys, and I was proud they executed the way they did down the stretch.
After that Hall of Fame thing the other night, I imagine you came back and worked half the night, because your team played with urgency today. Did you prepare with a big game urgency in this?
Well, this is a big game for us. I mean, right now, when you put yourself in a position, we did. Every game's a big game. But Ohio State, Michigan State, if you look at the record over the last 5, 6, 7 years, they've been games like this. It seems like every one is like this. Whether we play down there, they play up here. I think both coaches have great respect for each other's programs. I think we've both been very consistent, and I thought Scott, man, really was a difference maker for them. On somebody that hasn't done maybe as much. He's been solid and steady, but he made a couple of key shots, and it hurts getting Loving back. That's hard. I mean, goes back to my thing. When there's distractions, and sometimes it's hard to come off that. But his team played awfully well too. I thought our running game was the difference for us, and then we didn't run as much second half for a variety of reasons.
Tom, going back to Tom a little bit, 36 minutes today, hits a three-pointer also. I guess just talk about what he brought for you today with that.
Well, the three-pointer was diagrammed, and we put that in last night, called a sneak attack. When he shot it, it was one of those proverbial, nice shot. And but you know what? He has improved. I mean, 6:30 every morning, you want to see him, he's in there. 11:30 every day, you want to see Dawson, He's got a class in there. And, you know, it's so fun. I told Dede and Gary and AP and the, you know, when you're on guys hard, like everybody claims I am, and then when you see, I mean, I could just do nothing but smile when Dawson made his free throws. I mean, I didn't even, it was just kind of one of those moments I'll probably remember for a long time. And it sounds stupid. He's a great player, and he, you know, but he has struggled from there. But just to stand up there and get him, and I told him he was fading away on those shots, like he didn't want to get fouled. And I said, you aren't going to do that anymore, or I'm pulling you. And to his credit, man, he did. And then Trice, you know, I told him I put the ball in his hand, but he can't be for a jack three, and he took that one to the hole. It was almost like somebody was looking down, and it just all went like it's supposed to go. And what does that do for us now? I don't know, but for me, it gives me a shot in the arm. I don't know what it does for them.
Tom, on the last play, I know Denzel maybe got a piece or whatever happened there. Were you going to foul?
Yeah.
Had they inbounded?
Yeah, believe it or not, I was gonna. So I'm
no questions asked. No doubt
questions.
about it.
I'm even changing with the times here. I'm gonna change every way except there'll be no tweeting. My commercial in, that's done. Let's move on. Next question.
Tom, Thad ended his press conference back here in the way back.
I'm
He
sorry.
ended his press conference saying that if Michigan State and Ohio State weren't NCAA teams, he didn't know what teams were considered NCAA. A win like this, kind of you needed one this year, a top 25 victory?
Well, I think you do. I mean, you need good wins, but, you know, I asked some people, you know, we've had some good losses, too. I know that doesn't fare as well, but that's what happens when you play good teams. And, I mean, Ohio State's, you know, I'm not going to beg for an NCAA bid. I'm going to let our team do its talking. But, I mean, the whole country's screwed up right now. It really is, if you look at it. And what's really happened, if you ask me, is so many teams are not playing against each other. And who knows who you're playing. All the conferences have been juggled. And sometimes, you know, this is one of those years the eyeball test might be more important than the others. I mean, every game we've played in has been right down to the wire except one. So we can compete with anybody, and they're in the same boat. That's a very good team we beat today, guys. And we played very good for a half, and we didn't play as good the second half, and give them some credit for that. But I'll just say they're worthy of it, and then I'll move on to see what we do in the next couple days. But we played with every team we played. You know, that's why you play Duke and Kansas and Notre Dame. And, you know, when we played Maryland, they might have been the hottest team in the country. And we played them twice in 2 weeks, you know. Sometimes it's not only who you play, it's when you play them. But the way these schedules are now, it's really confusing for media, for fans, sometimes for coaches, because you have to look at who they're playing once, where they're playing them, is it home or away, is a game after a big win or a big loss. That's going to be more difficult. It's going to take 5 years because we haven't had anything like this where we have these mega conferences, and I think it's getting more difficult, and I hope it doesn't change the number of teams, the good teams that'll get in. Some places you're going to beat yourself up. Some places somebody's going to get a big advantage because they played the bottom 2 or 3 teams 6 times and others don't. It's complicated. I'm just telling you that Ohio State is a very, very, very good team. They're efficient. I love what Thad did to think that they were a complete zone team, which I didn't understand that. So I'll give them my personal rip because I told them that on the phone one day. You know, they're so athletic and things, and they become a very, very good man-to-man team. You saw 2 of the best teams defensively in the league today, and yet our offenses were decent, even though it was just hard to score. It took a long time to score because people were getting after people.
Tom, you were smiling even before Brandon settled in for that first free throw. Was that confidence or wishful thinking?
You know, I said to him in the thing, I said, this is the way it's supposed to be, BJ. This is the way it's supposed to be. You know, you fell away a couple times, and you got to man up, man, and you did. You went in there, got a big rebound, got fouled. Just go there and knock them down. You've worked your tail off for it. I don't know why. I'm more of a pessimist than an optimist. We all know that. But I did feel they were going in. When the first one went in, I did. I'm embarrassed to say I laughed. I did. The second one went in. And then Valentine did it on Valentine's Day. So how much more can you ask for a poetic justice last 3 minutes?
Coach, you mentioned you thank the fans for being here, obviously, but what about the former players? What effect, if any, do you think having Day and Gary and AP here had on your team?
Well, those guys, I mean, they came in yesterday. Day came the day before, and I went down to the thing, and Nix came over before the game and said, "Hey, we had a meeting with the team." I said, "You did?" Scared me a little bit, but no, I love what he said, and he says, "Well, Day did most of the talking, I just backed him up." And I said, "Well, that was good." And Gary and AP last night, they were so good, and they were in the locker room before the game, and Day's in there at halftime, and he's just so fired up. I mean, we got a ton of parents back, too. It just, last week it was the Youpers at my house after a loss. Today it's all my former players and all the former parents of players. So we're going to have a good time, snow or not.
Tom, your team hasn't really had a moment like that this season. What can that do for you? Thinking back to even like 06, 07, Wisconsin, the Neitzel 3, what can that moment do for a team?
Well, I'm going to use Day again. Those guys are better coaches than I am, but, we enjoyed the locker room, which they should have. And, then you start talking about the next game, and we didn't want to do that because we needed to enjoy a moment. And as everybody was jumping around, Day stopped everybody and reminded them, this is great, but this is what we do here. Make sure that it doesn't have to be this great because you take care of your business throughout the time. That was cool. That was really cool. And then he jumped on everybody and had fun with them. But, I mean, just making people understand, the Andre Hudson line is this is what we do here. And we've done it here for a long time. And, yeah, we've slipped up a little bit this year, but not a lot when you really think about it. We just haven't. And we know why. And we've addressed it the best we could. And I did it without a witch doctor. I did it without bringing in everybody and their uncle. We're still a long ways to go from where we need to be, but we have definitely made a step in the right direction. So, yes.
I know we weren't sure about this year. Who would take those last critical shots throughout this? How much has Denzel kind of grown into that role of a guy that wants to take that last shot?
Well, I think Denzel learned a lesson that he told you guys last week. I mean, most of the time he's taking a shot, and it's not up for debate anymore. And he's worked to earn it, the right to earn it. He's got the size and he's got the skill. And and I'll tell you something. BJ wasn't himself the first couple minutes. I told him I thought he was not running very hard, not working very hard. But boy, is it fun to see him not argue and then do something and then go in at halftime and say, "I got you, coach. I knew what I was doing." And this team is maturing. It's growing. It's taken a while, but we're trying to get guys that haven't been key people and now make them key people. And sometimes it takes a little longer, but it's a step. It's only a step, so don't get carried away. It's only a step, but a step against a very good team. Yes. I'm sorry, Bob.
I wanted to follow up Joe's question. If fouling is against your personal philosophy, why would you do it here?
Because everybody says I don't change with the times, and everybody. No, you know what I looked at? I thought I knew what they'd run. Having Evan Turner in the house helped me know what they were going to run. Honest to God. Because I knew they were going to run that. We were going to switch it. Told them to catch it, take a dribble, and then foul them on this side of half court. And I don't know. It was just a thought. A couple of players felt good about it that I talked to. My staff did. It wasn't like we never work on it, but I can't say we work on fouling a lot. I usually think our defense is good enough. But, sometimes you do things within the moment, too. And may God strike me dead if we didn't say, remember Evan Turner against Michigan? He came here, and he came from this side and caught it. And so we said, okay, when they do that, we'll switch it. And if they do it, and they did.
Tom, this seems
Right, yeah.
This seems as content as you've been all year, win or lose, just because of the way you played. Maybe it's the huddles and as angry as you were a week ago, is this kind of like one for the old days?
Exactly what my players said. It's exactly. So the crowd was like the old times. The energy was. We aren't the toughest team. Now I got to tell you. I got to be honest with you. We are not the toughest team. We're trying to do that, but some of it is in the personnel we have, and it's not anybody's fault. Some of it is not having a best. Some of you miss your tough guys sometimes. But I think today I'll make them realize because, there were guys that got after guys in huddles today. I mean, I had to take Costello. I never seen Costello go after somebody, but God, did I enjoy that. It was awesome. And so I jumped in with them, man. It was fun. And I think maybe they'll learn from this and realize that it's not pretty to hold people accountable to great things. And most people don't understand how difficult that is. It's not a fun job either. It's not something you enjoy, but it's something that is mandatory. And so maybe we grew a little bit in that area today. Yes?
Tom, you talk about growing. With a lot of people remember great players but forget maybe what Day-Day was like his first couple years. He wasn't the Day-Day that left. Last week, Denzel says, hey, give the ball to Forbes. This week, I want the ball. Are we seeing him in those stages of becoming the great player you said he could be at the very first conference when he got here as a freshman?
Yeah, I think so. And I think, too, don't blame Denzel for all that. I mean, I had to make the decision. It's my decision. So now it's not his decision anymore. It's already been made. It's been made ahead of time. So unless he has a broken arm, that's the decision. And if the whole world knows it, I really don't care. So be prepared for him because he just can do different things. And you always want it in a guy's hand that can either make a great pass, make a shot, or make a free throw if he gets fouled. And he's worked. He's earned the right. I think he, so that's my call at the end. And that's why I said I should be held accountable for that.
Just one is best done for the year?
We don't know.
You don't know?
Okay. We did have him meet with some doctors, and it wasn't quite as bad. I mean, everything seems to be right. It just didn't quite heal in one part. So they're going to keep him out a couple weeks and then make some decisions because it really won't affect if they have to redo something. But it was actually a little bit of positive news on Thursday night. Boy, that would help us a little bit if we can get some minutes out of him. Any others?